Welcome everyone. It is Nero here at DAPPS Center, the channel where you can find the best crypto projects and the best dApps where you can earn a passive income and learn about all the other things you could do with your precious little cryptocurrencies. Be sure to subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Now let's get to it, shall we? All right, guys, I am here doing a live AMA with Sponsy.io. This is a brand new project. I got the co-founders here with me today. I got Joel Lowe. He is the CEO. And then I also have Rupert Jan. He is the Chief Operating Officer. So nice to meet you guys. Thank you guys for being on our channel. Please tell our audience a little bit about your guys' selves and how did you guys get involved in blockchain technology?
Okay, so maybe I'll start for this part.
Okay.
So maybe a little bit more about Joel and I is that we're like longtime friends. We've known each other for like almost 10 years now. So we've actually worked on a couple of projects together. And this one, Sponsy, is our fourth or fifth one that we are already working on. So it's the most interesting one because in a way it's the first one that involves blockchain and crypto that we're going to touch on. But what's also interesting about this is that what we wanted to do is to kind of like do something a little bit different from the typical crypto startup. So it's not purely on the crypto side, but it also has an application and like a proper real life use case to it. So the point is to create something that already has function on its own and then enhance it with blockchain element. So so that's the whole broad idea of what like Sponsy is. And in terms of how we got started in maybe like crypto and blockchain, all that, I would say we are sort of like second wave crypto people. So I would say the first wave was kind of in like the earlier 2010s to like up to like 20 before the second bull run. So we came in around 2017, the sort of like the second bull run. And then we became really interested in the whole landscape. Like at first it was like all Bitcoin, right? We heard of that like maybe in the early 2010s. Then towards a later stage, we found out about like Ethereum and like all the smart contracts and like the potential that this has in the whole this has to like revolutionize the world and change the landscape in so many different ways. So like we always thought like from back then that it would be really cool if we could start a project that sort of leverages these new technology and these advantages to make something that's better than it would be if it did not have the blockchain element. So we put the blockchain and make something even better. So Sponsy is sort of incorporates these elements, and it makes it a really, what we feel is a really interesting project and something that we are very happy and excited to be finally be able to work on at this stage. I'm just happy that the whole community is kind of booming.
Hey Nemo.
Hello.
Nero, sorry. Yes. So thought I might just add a few words of my own. So yeah, I'm Joel, and as Rupert has said, really interesting and into chain. But you know, we do see that there's a lot of potential to itself because decentralized finance and decentralized methods really shake up the world of traditional technology. Yeah, and you know, use like all the funny stories that Rupert and I had. For example, there was one we were trying to convince the boss of a huge Chinese manufacturing company to buy Bitcoin, and you know, like our Mandarin wasn't so good, so it was a really awkward conversation, just us talking about blockchain in general. So those were really fun times. Yeah, so I'm really happy to be here today and at this stage, and look at how we came, from someone who was observing blockchain and cryptocurrencies on the sideline to today talking to you, Nero, about it, and having a company built from the ground up with an amazing team working on projects that will change the world. Yeah, so I'm really stoked to be here. And how you like my new look?
Very nice, very nice. So yeah, I rock the shades because I actually, not even when I'm on camera, I'm wearing the glasses because I'm on the using the computer screen like 18 hours a day and my eyes start hurting. So I started wearing sunglasses, and I was doing that in my live streams, and people actually like, hey, it's a good look for you. So I started just doing it no matter what. So, but yeah, that's pretty funny. So yeah, so let me go ahead. Let's go to the next question here. Can you guys briefly describe to me what Sponsy is, and how does it plan to bring influencers and businesses together?
Okay, so maybe I'll start for this one as well. So Sponsy as a whole is like a free to use platform. So that allows businesses, like a marketplace that allows businesses and influencers to come on board. And then once they're on board, they can like find each other and connect with each other. And like if I'm a business and I want to engage an influencer in a marketing campaign to sell my new product, so I come to the Sponsy app, I find whichever influencer fits my needs the best. I choose them, I communicate with them, strike a deal with them, and then they will help me shout out my product, and I gain more sales. So that's from the business's standpoint. From the influencer standpoint, it's like they want to earn an extra buck, earn a little bit more money on the side. So they sign up for the Sponsy platform fee-free. They come on board, they see whichever business is suitable for them. They can chat with them saying, hey, I can do a shout out for you. I can help you advertise your new product here. And then I do a shout out for you on like TikTok or Instagram. And then once it's done, everything's verified, the payment goes through, and I as the influencer, I earn my money. So the benefit of Sponsy as a whole is like it's fee-free. So currently most other platforms I'll say out there is that the competitors aren't that many, but they always typically charge a fee. So we allow sponsees and sponsors to connect for free. And what this does is it sort of lowers the barrier to entry for businesses and influencers wishing to enter this market. So before that, I would say typically you'll be looking at the bigger businesses paying out larger sums of money to bigger named influencers. So there's sort of a barrier of entry for the little guy, like your mom and pop shops, your SMEs, your small medium enterprises. So they have a harder time engaging in influencer marketing as a whole. So we hope what Sponsy will help them do is lower the barrier to entry and allow them to maybe dip their toes in the water and experience a bit of the benefits of what carrying out influencer marketing campaigns will do for their businesses. This also applies to the other influencer side of things, where micro or nano influencers are traditionally not getting as many big deals or as many big sponsorships from companies. So what we allow is them to find businesses on a smaller scale. So even if I have maybe 1,000 or a couple thousand followers, or of a much smaller number, I can still find lucrative deals for myself to offer my services and still get paid well as a result. So this is the application side of things. So where the blockchain side of it comes in is that this traditional workflow has quite several issues actually. So I think the most common one, in influencer marketing, I would say is disputes. These disputes happen so often everywhere. In our previous business ventures, like Joe and myself, we've also experienced firsthand the downsides of influencer marketing when there isn't a proper due process and one party expects something that was not reciprocated on the other side. So then conflicts occur and then it gets messy and it's just terrible. So Sponsy as a whole plans to use the blockchain side to resolve these issues. So for example, we'll have our own the contracts minted onto the blockchain. So everything's immutable and everything's recorded. And we also have our own dispute resolution. I think maybe Joel will go through this later in a little more detail on how we use the blockchain to resolve issues of conflict. And yeah, several other use cases. So ultimately what we are as a whole is an application that's enhanced with the usage of blockchain. So that's our goal of what we're trying to do here. And of course, this is the goal at this stage in time. Our short-term goal for the Sponsy business and to influencer platform. Subsequently, we'll have many more things that we'll be trying to work towards as well. And I think we may go through them, some of them a little bit later as well. So yeah, so that's for the Sponsy project as a whole. It's just this influencer and business market, fee-free influencer and business marketplace that's enhanced by blockchain. And we think this is really exciting because it lowers the barrier entry to all businesses and like small influencers, and it could bring the benefit of influencer marketing to so many companies around the world, especially during like times of like hardship, like right now, for example, where like cities are under lockdown, stores are closed. Yeah, having a little bit of marketing on the internet, especially for those businesses who have never experienced it before, would go a long way in helping themselves and like as well as their customers. And yeah, so we hope this impact is widespread. The impact we can make will be widespread and far-reaching, and it will bring like lots of benefits to everyone everywhere. Yeah. So so that's a brief rundown of Sponsy and how we use blockchain as a whole. Do you have any questions?
I do. I have lots of questions actually.
That's great.
Few questions I do have, and this is gonna be off the record if you guys want to, but so one of the so I'm a crypto influencer, right? And I think this is a great project because you guys are actually going to be a disruptor to the current marketplace right now when it comes to influencers and sponsorships and partnerships. And you guys have a great opportunity to solve some of these problems as well, which I'll go into detail here in a little bit. The first one is right now the market is you basically you got the sponsors, the businesses are looking for marketing. They go out and they're looking for influencers, and it's really hard to get a hold of some of these influencers. And then you're trying to communicate through social media or through emails and so forth. So it opens up a lot of opportunities for impersonators, scam artists, and things like that. So how will Sponsy be able to, or do they have plans to help prevent from those that are trying to impersonate? Because I personally, being an influencer, I've lost clients and lost money because somebody else pretended to be me, contacted them, and they used a similar username as me. It wasn't the same username, but they used a similar username. They try to use my picture and everything, and they actually had my clients send them money, and then they just vanish. And they come up to me like, "Hey, what happened?" And I'm just like, "What do you mean? Aren't you guys gonna do my promotion?" I'm like, "What promotion?" And they're just like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" So what? Because it robs both of us. That hurts our business, and that hurts their obviously they lost money. So does Sponsy have a solution for that?
Sorry, am I unmuted? Okay, I am. All right. Yeah. So Sponsy does have a solution for that. So basically, all accounts have the capability or the capacity to be verified by Sponsy, and because we are using blockchain technology, that means that all information is being stored on the blockchain itself. It's immutable, right? So it can't be changed, and it's public access. So basically, it's a sort of a centralized, decentralized way of going around this situation, bring both the benefits of a decentralized approach, which we'll talk about later, and also the centralized regulation with regards to the identities of people. So of course, we have some interesting things planned for the whole Know Your Customer KYC process that involves decentralization in one way or another. I don't think we'll go too much into it today because it's still intellectual property and like confidential stuff that we are working on. But on the demo, there are several layers of security, from blockchain-based security to non-blockchain-based security, such as JSON web tokens and stuff like that, and third-party APIs that we use to verify the identities of people or businesses on our application itself. Yeah.
Awesome. Great. So guys, tell us a little bit more about the Spawn ecosystem that you guys were talking about. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Right. Okay. I think I'll do this part. It's something I'm really excited about. Yeah. So don't mind me if I get too excited about it. Okay. So the Spawn ecosystem is something much larger than what the Sponsy project is about. Right. So the Sponsy project is just a platform on the Spawn ecosystem. So the Spawn ecosystem has a lot of implications. I'm really excited about it because my background is in mathematics, and I studied mathematics in university. So it has a lot of interesting computational and mathematical rewards and benefits to using the Spawn ecosystem itself. Okay, so if I were to summarize what the Spawn ecosystem is, it's basically a next generation decentralized ecosystem of platforms that facilitates digital contracts and agreements between parties, right? So that's as a brief summary. Now, the Spawn ecosystem has several unique features that differentiates it from other ecosystems and that gives benefits to the platforms that use the Spawn ecosystem. So some of these, or the major benefit or feature of the Spawn ecosystem is the consensus mechanism we use for the blockchain that the Spawn ecosystem is hosted on. So the consensus mechanism that we use to verify transactions and to secure the blockchain is what we call a jury pool consensus or a jury pool consensus mechanism. So have you like watched shows about like, courts in the US, right? And you have like a judge and there's like the jury decides, oh, you're guilty and stuff like that, and they all argue among themselves and stuff like that. Now, the principle of this decentralization, or according to my own personal opinion, is that it gives people a voice, right? A voice to decide on the validity of transactions, or a voice to decide on things in the world in general. And that, I believe, is fundamentally where humanity is headed, right? To take away that centralized control and regulation and give that authority back to the masses to make an informed decision based on the mean or the average. So what we have is that, previously Rupert talked about this dispute resolution process, right? So how, if an influencer in a business comes to a disagreement, for example, how is the dispute resolved? Well, in a jury pool consensus mechanism, which is something that we invented, it gives the authority of decision to token holders who are part of the jury pool, right? So you have a group of token holders who will then vote on the outcome of the dispute. And we do see the good in humans. We trust that humans inherently know what is good and what is bad, right? So we give that authority to the token holders, and that's what benefit of being a token holder. You get to decide on the outcome of disputes, and then you get rewarded for that to keep the system going. So the whole idea of a jury pool consensus mechanism is one that is underlying the entire Spawn ecosystem and is a key defining feature of it. Now, of course, that is not the only thing about the Spawn ecosystem that makes it unique or useful in that sense. Okay, so there are a few things that I will briefly touch on, but I won't go into detail because there's a lot to cover for that. One of them is, okay, so just a few features that the Spawn ecosystem has is that we have our own smart contract factory. So using our own smart contract factory, we can generate immutable smart contracts, next generation smart contracts with several features. Basically, the feature that we are working on, or that we have already completed our work on, is called the milestone-based verification system. So that allows you to split different tasks, between two parties into different varying milestones and have payouts or incentives based on the milestones that are achieved. So you're turning essentially, in the context of Sponsy, you're turning the idea of rewarding based on just showing the proof of a post of a social media shout out from a single event to one that incentivizes the influencer to do a good job and to give you conversions so that they can earn more as a reward. So that is an interesting feature of our block of our Spawn ecosystem as well. So actually, we are developing our own blockchain. So that's the whole idea of it. Okay, so other stuff that we are working on, or the Spawn ecosystem has, includes like blockchain and enabled constraints that helps to facilitate the transactions between two parties. Things like proof of stake. That's how the traditional consensus is being done between parties. Also, cross-platform integration. So, okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. If you thought what I said was interesting, this is where I hope it blows your mind. So the Spawn ecosystem itself, as I said, right, it's not just about the Sponsy application. The Sponsy application is but one platform on the ecosystem. Now, we are currently working on 4 other platforms on the ecosystem that we have not talked to the public about. So you are literally the first, the first public figure, I guess, or the first public avenue which hears about this. So it's pretty cool, I guess. Yay! And yeah, I'm super stoked about this. So what is really cool about the Spawn ecosystem is that it allows cross-platform integration and accessibility via the Spawn token itself. So, you might ask like, okay, so what's the point of the Spawn token? Is it just another like, cryptocurrency that you buy and sell? It's not. The Spawn token gives you the right to access our platform, to integrate cross-platform APIs, as well as access platforms in the ecosystem itself. So what I mean by cross-platform integration is this. Let's say we have Sponsy, right? And Sponsy has certain APIs or functions, right? Functions that, for example, define the transactions between influencers and businesses. Now, let's say we have another kind of platform, and that platform has another purpose with the same consensus mechanism. Now, what you can do is you can create, which is what we are working on, create a logic flow between the two platforms so that you can create a single contract that encompasses both platforms. So what you can essentially do then is to give token holders the capacity or the capability to build their own platforms on the system and pull APIs from other platforms as well.
Wow.
Essentially becoming a mega ecosystem itself. Yeah.
Wow.
Other stuff, are more technical. I don't think I want to go through like mathematical stuff today. It's like basically we have stuff like practical Byzantine fault tolerance, with asynchronous consensus mechanisms involved as well. These are, fundamental or technical features of the Spawn ecosystem. But, since just to, recap what your question is, since I think I gave a pretty long answer, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
so,
you probably already answered my next question, but what are some other great features regarding Sponsy, and why would anybody want to invest in this project? I mean, I'm already thinking about investing in this thing, but tell us more about what are some other great features that Sponsy is going to bring us.
Yes, sure. Okay, so I think the value of Sponsy or the Spawn ecosystem itself is that you're investing in a project that will change the world, or that I hope will change the world. Like, honestly, I don't need like fast cash or anything, like the reason I'm doing this project is I'll tell you about it later, I guess, but it's part of my longer vision of the things that I want to work on that benefits humanity, I suppose, or that shapes how humanity progresses as a whole. This is fundamentally what I'm interested in. So if you're looking for like a token to buy for, people go like, what is the next 100 times 100 token, for example, right? This is not what Sponsy is about. We don't speculate on price targets. We don't talk about the value of the token or the intrinsic value of the token itself. That is not what is important here. I think for people who are interested in investing in Sponsy as an application, as a platform, and as an ecosystem, is basically people who see the value or the potential of how Sponsy can change the world, not just but in terms of digital contract and agreements between two parties. In terms of the potential that the ecosystem has to accommodate more platforms and giving the freedom of creation to individual token holders, right? So it's not just about us creating the platforms, but you, for example, you talk about your channel and your company, right? And how you work with influencers as well, and how you work with businesses as well. Now, it benefits you in that sense to build your platform, either as a company or as an individual, to be given the chance to access these technologies, right? So, and it's a free marketplace. So that's what's really cool, right? So, okay, yeah. And I think if you want to be more concrete about the features that Sponsy has that attract investors, right? Then that would be two things. The first is that the value of an ecosystem is only as good as the value of its projects or platforms that are on the ecosystem. So I think I will give you a small teaser about the platforms that are coming up. So as usual, or as per what I said, no one else has heard of this before. So you are the first to know outside of the company. And second, it's also about the growth potential of Sponsy in onboarding users, right? So an app is as good as the number of users it can get, right? You have to agree on that. So what defines Sponsy as a platform first and foremost is that it's not that wow, we are revolutionary in terms of our technology. There are plenty of revolutionary companies out there that fail to take off. So what really gives us the upper hand here is that we have an extensive campaign coming up, which I'll go through when we talk about like roadmaps and timelines and stuff like that. But we do have an extensive local and international campaign to onboard both users and we have plenty of options available to do that, as well as a huge database of businesses that we can contact and we are already contacting. So we do plan to shake up the world of influencer marketing, and sort of the micro and nano influencers being done. But at the same time, we have a very solid execution plan for that. And that is what I feel investors should trust, not the vision itself only, but also the execution plan, right? And yeah, and the other thing is since we're on this topic, maybe I would just drop some teasers about the platforms that we are working on. Can I do so, Rupert?
Sure.
Okay, yeah. So sorry, I had to ask Rupert for permission, because it's a bit of a first, like a new thing for the community. Okay, so right now we are actually working on 3 other platforms that are to be hosted on the Spawn ecosystem. So if just to tie back to the Spawn token secures and validates the Spawn ecosystem, right? So these 3 other platforms are very interesting. So the first platform that we have is called Shilly. So Shilly, as in like SHIL, when you show a token, right?
Yeah.
So Shilly is basically a peer-to-peer marketplace as well, but it's for newly minted cryptocurrencies. So it's where cryptocurrencies can find and collaborate with marketing partners for purposes of shilling the token. So that's something that we can potentially have a partnership on as well, if you're keen on the project.
Absolutely.
And for Shilly, and for all of these projects, we are sort of wrapping up the wireframing and requirement gathering phase, and some of them are already in development. So I expect things to move really fast. So the second platform we have is called Sentiment. So it's basically a decentralized platform that connects companies with everyday users. So not influencers, but just everyday users like you, me, Joe down the street, Susan buying fried rice at the store or something like that. So everyday users for purposes of peer and affiliate marketing. So peer and affiliate marketing meaning that marketing on chat groups and stuff like that, right? So this is fundamentally different from being an influencer, but it's more of like a word of mouth marketing between friends. So that's as far as I can talk about for that right now. There are really interesting things with Sentiment that's going on. And the last one is a platform called Sensory. So they all start with S. So Sensory is an NFT marketplace that allows budding influencers and creators to mint media shout-outs as open deadline contracts in the form of NFTs. So if I want to buy a shout-out from a budding influencer who is yet to become big, I can first purchase this and then cash in later on 3 years down the road. And these NFTs are tradable as well. So these 3 projects are pretty cool, and they are very large scale as well. But we didn't want to intimidate or overwhelm our community or the public by talking about them all at once. But since you're a cool guy, I thought I might just share about it.
Well, we won't share too much details because I totally agree. I think having too much could be distracting. But if you guys could just send me some of that info, I could at least have like a banner I could use for each project, and I can post it in the video if you guys want to.
Yeah, sure. We'll send you the details later on.
Okay, great, awesome. So going into our next question. So could you guys please provide me with some progress of the roadmap, and what results have you been able to achieve so far, and have you had any setbacks?
Okay, Rupert, you mind if I take this? Yeah. All right, yeah, sure. Okay, so the concept of a roadmap. Okay, so for the roadmap and the timeline, I'm just going to touch on 3 months, which are July 2021, August, and September 2021. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want to go too far into the future, because even though we have our own internal roadmap and internal plans, plans are fluid and dynamic, and they largely depend on the market itself as well, right? So I don't see a point in doing it so far out. But I think it's also important to, as you said, go through what we have achieved so far, because most people lose sight of the big picture when they don't appreciate how far they've came. So just to give a brief overview, we launched our first token funding round, token funding round A, in May 2021 this year. We've gotten a really interesting and engaging community. It's a pretty small community because we don't want to go out there in the world too fast. So after our initial fundraising rounds, what we have done is that we sort of hunkered down and we did mostly focus on app development and smart contract development itself. So let's talk about the month of July then, right? Last month, what we have achieved really exceeded my expectations. I have an amazing team and I can't thank them enough. We have expanded our team drastically over the past few months. We have about more than 30 members, more employees now, from consultants to marketing to business development to a substantial app development team as well as blockchain development team. So my team has been working really hard into the night at times over the past few months. So at the end of July, we have done four main things. So first, we have completed both the iOS and the Android mobile application, fully completed with just ready to launch. Next, we have already completed the smart contracts for the milestone-based verification systems. We are not integrating the smart contracts yet because I'll explain the rationale later on. Okay, so the third thing we have done is that we have completed a secure admin interface for a no-code management system of the Sponsy application. So this means that anyone who maybe if anyone wants to buy the company, for example, like if someone comes to us and say, hey, can I buy Sponsy for $1 billion? And then they do indeed end up doing that. They have an admin interface that is hugely extensive and requires no code for detailed management of everything that goes on the Sponsy application. So that is our whole backend system. The fourth thing that we have achieved was to include extensive security features to secure the application. So making us essentially a professional grade application, not just one that someone did in the basement, right? So security features or tools that we have utilized would be like JSON web tokens, as I've talked about before, or several third-party APIs that we are currently using. So this kind of extends into our servers as well. So over the past few months, and especially in the month of July, that was mainly what happened with the app development process. And as for the social media and the marketing side of things, we are all prepping for our August launch of our app. So things are, really going to overdrive right now. We have really contacted a large number of social media influencers, as well as small and medium-sized enterprises in Singapore to lay the foundation for app launch, as well as onboard a substantial amount of early adopters. So, we're not just going to push our app onto the App Store and hope for the best. We already have users interested, and we already have people, an extensive network of people with a nationwide campaign that is going to explode onto the scene. We also have started the wireframing and requirement gathering and completed it, the process for the variety of platforms to populate the small ecosystem as I talked about. And and in terms of the token side of things, which I'm sure a lot of people want to hear about, but I don't talk enough about apparently, is that for the token side of things, we have initiated community engagement. We have started working with community partners in our community and started contacting various partners for funding round C, which is coming up in August. So this will kind of extend into our August roadmap as well. And the last thing we did for the month of July that was already accomplished was the legal and administrative restructuring of the Sponsy company as a whole. Because as we are rapidly expanding, we are no longer just a small startup or somebody's like a garage or house or something, right? So we got to do things properly right now. We have to make sure that we have the proper administrative oversight and have the proper legal considerations in place, especially if we are about to expand rapidly. So that was what happened in the month of July. I think it's quite a lot. So I'm sorry if I bored you with so much detail.
You're good.
Okay, so coming up in August and September, it will be two really interesting months. September is basically the most important month of the year for us. It is the month where we will launch our Sponsy app, the beta version of our Sponsy app. So beta meaning we will not have smart contract integrations, but the purpose of that is for tolerance testing purposes. So that means that we want to have a stream of transaction or a transaction workflow that is based on fiat currency and that can take over any time our smart contracts fail. So it's part of fault tolerance testing, basically. So we will be launching around the 9th of August, the Sponsy app in beta in Singapore as a local launch. And with the launch of our application, we have our own nationwide campaign called the Take 5 campaign in Singapore. And this will be a nationwide effort to support local businesses to coincide with Singapore's National Day or National Week. So Singapore's National Day is on the 9th of August. So that is sort of the timeline we're trying to coincide with, become a nationwide effort. And the purpose is really, just to support local businesses affected by the pandemic, and try to see how influencer marketing can help that situation. So that is the main plan for August. Right now, as we lead up to the launch of the application itself, there's still a lot of stress testing to be done to the app to make sure that it's fully functional, and also the actual listing to App Store and Play Store that we are currently in contact with and discussions with right now. Because when you list an app as a business, as a company, there's a lot more administrative requirements than listing an app as an individual. Okay, so for the token side of things, for the Spawn token, coming up in August, to coincide with our app launch, is also the funding round C campaign for our token. So it will be the final opportunity for token, or for the public to become token holders before the listing of our token itself on the DEX. Right. So this will be the final round. But we plan to rapidly ramp up the token outreach and marketing via community efforts, which is why we are having this, this AMA session today. And additionally, we will also have AMA sessions with other, marketing partners, and also internally on our own Discord and Telegram channels and servers. So, you can probably drop the link down there if people are keen. So the key is for us to, start to re-engage with our Telegram and Discord to the people who have supported us and believed in us, all these months. It's time to give back to the community, I suppose. And other than that, that seems like a lot, but other than that, we'll still be developing the 3 other platforms that I talked about. And those 3 platforms will, I'll go into that later on. So the last thing is that also this month, we will be pushing our outreach to non-English speaking regions as well. So, for example, we are starting with Sponsy in China and trying to get Chinese exposure of our token and our project. So I believe that the English-speaking regions in the world are only so much of the entire world population, and to truly make a difference, we have to cater to these diverse communities and these diverse regions as well. Yeah. Okay. So sorry if this is dragging on, man. Like that's a lot of.
It's all right. We got like 15 minutes. For some reason, after 1 hour, Zoom will stop recording. So we have about 15 minutes of recording time left. Yeah, we got one more question. So if you want to wrap it up, this question here in like less than 5 minutes, then we can go on to the next question, and then we can wrap it up.
Yeah, no worries, Hero. I'll just go through like the timeline for September real quick, because I think that is mainly the last important thing that I kind of really want to cover as well. And it sort of gives it's a kind of a direct implication to what happens in August. So in September, we will be planning the international launch of the Sponsy application. So things move really fast, it's going to be Singapore 1 month, and then hopefully international. So as for what we did with the Singapore launch, we will have a massive outreach program as well to onboard small and medium-sized enterprises and influencers. We will also start testing and including revenue-generating features in the Sponsy application. So for all past, future, and current investors, for the Sponsy application, I think it's pretty good news, because we will be including revenue-generating features so that we can keep the Sponsy project developing and to rapidly scale the potential of the Sponsy project itself. And we will go into testing phase in September for the other platforms that we talked about, as well as the further development and integration of the jury pool consensus mechanism that we are currently working on. And I think the last thing in September that I think I want to talk about is about the token itself. So I think October will be as we approach token listing on the DEX. So September will be about releasing the incentivizing opportunities to the community for long-term token holding. So things such as like token locking, proof of stake, liquidity pool locking, DeFi-based benefits that we have planned. So I think if you are an investor, or if you're a potential investor in Sponsy, do keep an eye out for September, because you get a lot of interesting insights into what benefits you might have as a long-term investor in Sponsy, or not an investor but as a long-term token holder as well. Yeah, so that's basically the roadmap for where we are headed. It's quite a lot of things.
Awesome. A lot of information there, folks. A lot of information. Thank you. So, what strategies does Sponsy have to add value to Spawn, the SPON token? And what do you predict the price to be with, say, 1 year from now? Even though we don't really care much about the price, like you said earlier, but just kind of give us an estimate. What do you guys think? What do you think the price could be 1 year from now?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So basically on this, yeah, you're right. We're not focused on this area at all. So we won't be able to give you any number or anything, but we'll just focus internally, working on all the different areas that we need to work on, and what happens on the token side will be down to the market forces and how people perceive the value of what we do is worth. So that will be completely down to them, but we'll just do our best and keep working on our different applications, our different smart contracts, and to keep enhancing our ecosystem to make it even bigger and better than continuously keep improving it. So yeah, that's the objective that I can tell anyone who's keen to become a token holder in Spawn, that what our team will be focused on doing. So yeah, it's a very long term. It's a very long term thing for all of us. So it's not something we can personally expect even tremendous results in a short time. Although we are trying to expand and grow rapidly, we also have to balance out and be feasible that it doesn't mean we'll skyrocket up. Yeah, that actually happens only in a rare case of not many companies. So we just keep working on it, focus on day by day, month by month, follow our roadmap, keep innovating and pivoting whenever necessary, and always be fluid and dynamic in whatever we choose to do and whatever we set out to do. So yeah, so I think that's the brief answer that I can give you guys right now on this subject.
Well, I could actually even add some value myself to this project. I'm actually very, very excited about this project, and I'm really glad to see that this project is taken off. But what really is going to add value? I mean, you look at what Wall Street Bets did to the stock market, and you saw what Elon Musk has done just from his tweets to Dogecoin and Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. It's obvious that influencing marketing and social media marketing has a profound influence on what people do and what people think. And you guys are going to be offering a solution and a service to the influencers and to the businesses that are looking for the influencers themselves. And that there is going to add a lot of value, because you're talking about exposure. When you're going to make influencers' jobs a lot easier, they're going to do everything they can to tell more about your project. And I think you guys are that's definitely something I'm really excited about and really excited to see. I'm definitely going to be getting myself on Sponsy here soon, when you guys be able to help me out with that and show me how I can get set up, because I'm definitely going to be getting on Sponsy myself.
Yeah, really, really great to hear that from you. Your enthusiasm and excitement, and you really hit the nail on the head on the last point. Like when you said when you have a platform that makes things easier for influencers to get on to earn from shout outs and all that. Yeah, that's the whole if you look back maybe in the past 10-20 years, or a lot of the big companies that are sort of like social disruptors, or sort of the innovators or disruptors, what they do is they provide a more convenient and easier pathway to existing solutions that that were around prior. So when you create a new pathway that is lower resistance for both ends, in our case, both the influencer end and the business end have a little bit of a lower resistance, lower barrier to entry pathway. That's when you make a big difference. So that's what we're striving for this Sponsy project as a whole. So yeah, really glad to hear that you actually got it like immediately.
Thank you. Well, that pretty much wraps it up here for the AMA. We got Joel Lowe, the CEO of Sponsy, and Rupert Yan, the COO of Sponsy as well. Do you guys both have anything else you'd like to add before we end this AMA?
No, I'm good. I'm just really happy to talk to you today, bro. I think we had a really fun conversation. If time had permitted, I would have talked to you for 2 hours, and because it's really cool to share these ideas with you and also hear your feedback on it. So other than us just talking today, I think you've really done a great job, and I really appreciate you taking your time to interview us.
Awesome, appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, likewise, like what Joel said. Yeah, thanks for the time and like for introducing us to your whole Dapp Center platform. A really cool place.
Awesome. Well, there you have it, folks. You got Sponsy.io. This is going to be a breakthrough technology to help crypto influencers in general, and businesses to be able to partner with influencers and to provide marketing on social media and marketing in general. So this is very exciting stuff. Definitely going to be doing more reviews and more videos on this project, so stay tuned for that. It is Nero here at Dapp Center saying so long and enjoy the rest of your day. Adios.